Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Low FI Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License Lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 2011280L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this, they lob it to him, he taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3, he's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
They're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve Risser along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And Deion Sanders is 3-0 and has got a humongous game this week as he brings his Colorado Buffaloes into Eugene to face the Oregon Ducks. And I think yes, they won't have Travis Hunter, but I think they're going to play with – I think Shedeur Sanders going to have a big game. He's going to have a really big game. And he's going to prove why he's a top 5 pick. They're going to go up and down with with Oregon. They're going to go up and down. It's going to be a competitive game. But – I do think the team with more talent is going to come through in the end. That's why I got Oregon winning this. And I do have win it by 2 scores. I got Oregon winning this 42-21. But Justin, the big question is will Deion and Colorado stay unbeaten?
No, they will not this week. They're going up to Eugene, where usually teams do not have success winning football games up there. And Colorado, yeah, they do not have Travis Hunter this week. They struggled to protect Shedeur Sanders last week. They're going to struggle against a very good defensive line of Oregon. Sanders is, I give him credit, man. He sits back there to the last second and does not care when he's about to take a hit. He does not care. And he's going to get hit a lot again this week. And, Oregon, too, for the Ducks, they're not going to hit a lot of big plays here. Bo Nix takes a lot of the underneath routes, and they have wide receivers that, they're great yards after catch wise. So I could see too, this offense with their tempo for Colorado, if they go 3 and out a couple times here, and Oregon kind of has a nice little drive of, 4 or 5 minutes, that defense got to come back out here. It's going to be very tough for them to get enough stops. So look, Colorado puts up some points. I got Oregon win this game 49-20.
Whoa. This is Deion Sanders. This is Colorado. Yeah. You think Deion Sanders is going to back down and lose 49-20? I'm telling you one thing. They might not win, but they are definitely covering the spread. They're covering. You think Deion Sanders is going to lose 49-20? He's not going to put up with that. They got a great quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. That was a rivalry game last week against all right, I'll admit. You were right last week. You told me. I thought it was going to be a blowout. There was a rivalry game. The Colorado State played well. But I just don't see a team coached by Deion Sanders losing by 29 points.
Well, unless they could bring in some offensive linemen this week. And that could block, then I'd agree with you. Again, if this was 7-on-7, sure, I'd probably pick Colorado in this game, but it ain't 7-on-7. It comes down to the trenches, and Colorado's going to lose that battle every single time. If you take out like that Nebraska game, I don't think they've had a tackle for a loss yet this year. The Buffalo do.
We got Joe. All right, Joe. 21-point underdog. They what do you mean not a top 25 team? They got one of the best quarterbacks in college football and one of the best coaches in college football. Yeah, Justin, speaking the truth. Come on now. Okay, how are they not a top 25 team? I don't understand how they're not a top 25 team. They crushed. They went into TCU. I know they're not as good as they were last year. They went into TCU and they won that game. They crushed Nebraska. Yeah, last week was a struggle, but this is a team that is changing the sport. This is a team that is huge. It's been huge for college football. They're not going to lose by 20. They're not going to lose by 29 points, or Joe says 21 points. That's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But I agree with Joe. I said it 7-on-7. This team would probably beat maybe anybody in the country. But their defense is not very good. Bo Nix I think his touchdown interception ratio at home at Auburn, Oregon is 66-5. Bo Nix is not playing football.
I understand that, but Deion Sanders ain't getting blown out. Okay. You should see the confidence that this team is playing with, the swagger they have.
They should have lost last week.
I get that. I understand that.
All the talk that he had, he coached that game not to lose. 42.
I got it. Yeah. I know.
Yes,
I get it. And Joe
next
says
2
this.
weeks.
Colorado. All right. Yes. Colorado comes crashing back to reality the next 2 weeks. Deion isn't playing. I get that Deion's not playing. I understand that, but he has motivated this group. He has made a ton of changes. And I get it. Oregon's a very good team. I understand. But I don't think Colorado's going to win, but they're going to play with them. They're going to cover this spread. They're not going to win the game, but they're going to cover. They're going to cover. I'm very, very confident they're going to cover the spread.
Without Travis Hunter, I don't know who on this defense. Oh, they got, the other Sanders out there at safety.
Yeah, he had a touchdown last week.
He did. But look, I think last week it was starting that last game last week was a show. All those famous rappers, The Rock there, like that turned into a show. Deion selling the sunglasses, like it's turned into a show where they got to come back down to earth a little bit. And I think this is the week. Joe now Colorado is good. They may keep it within 21. Yeah, I don't know how many times Oregon punts. I really don't. I don't see.
I don't think they punt a lot either. But I think that Colorado's going to score as well. They're going to score as well. Shadir Sanders has proven to be really good.
He is.
And you saw last week with the game in the line what he did.
Yeah, he did. Colorado State's defense is not great. I will give him credit. They looked really good in the final minute, going 98 yards there in like a minute 26, I believe it was. Like that was impressive. But they can't run the football. And they try to keep teams honest. They try to run it once in a while, try to keep you honest back there, but it ain't going to work against Oregon front. They could just sit back there, drop like 7 or 8, and kind of say, okay, pick us apart. I don't think that's I think Oregon can get to Sanders with a 3-man rush. He's not a scrambler. And I just with how bad Kyle is up front, I think Oregon's going to have some fun back there today or on Saturday. And again, yeah, Sanders is a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but he just has no line to help him out.
They'll score their points. I know that, but I think Shadir Sanders is going to put up points too. I think he's going to put up points too. It's a big game. Deion's going to have them ready to go. It's a big game. Yeah, they won't win, but they'll be in it. They'll be there.
Yeah, they could. I'm not very highly confident in that. Again, TCU, I think SMU is going to beat them this weekend. Nebraska, they might win the West because the Big Ten West is that bad, but that's not a good football team. And Jeff Sims is one of the worst quarterbacks in the country, and he got benched last week. Colorado State should have won last week. Not enough points.
I agree with you. I get it. They won't score enough points, but I think they'll be in the game. I think people should not be thinking that Colorado's not going to give them a game. They are going to. Deion's done this is one of the best program transformations I have ever seen. I mean, to go from 1-11 to a 3-0 start is amazing. It's flat out amazing.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is. What he's been doing here is impressive, but like I just this like next week, I'd be surprised if USC does not put up more than 56 points on this team. Like I really would. I know we'll talk about next week, but they're not topping Caleb Williams. This is just the beginning here. Yeah, they'll beat Arizona State by 40 because that team's injury is wrecked right now. But Oregon's gonna put up so many points in this game on them. Their defense is not gonna make enough shot. It's a great story. Again, they had 9.3 million. It was like ESPN's fifth high rated regular season game for like college football. Like, and that was a 10 o'clock game. They didn't even start actually like 20 after 10. Like, it's been great for the ratings and all that, but this team still, it's better than what I thought. Again, I had Colorado under 3.5 wins. I didn't think there was any chance that going in that this was going to work out in year one. It has. That's going to be a loser for me, but it's been a great story. Yeah, again, they win 6-7 games. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins Coach of the Year with how he's changed his team. But this is going up to the next level here. I don't think they're ready for it. 7-on-7, as I've said, they would. They're just not right in the trenches yet for this type of game.
It'll be a tough one. I think, but I do think their issues in the trenches can be made up at times by the great quarterback play of Shedeur Sanders. So we'll see what happens. And it's got another one with Joe. Here we go. It's impressive. I've been a Colorado fan since Cordell Stewart and Rashawn Salam. They are relevant again. Kudos to Coach Sanders. But us versus the world mentality is that it is a little bit. I'll give Joe that. The whole us against the world. The mentality they have is a little bit foolish because you're going to start getting teams like Oregon and USC but they've been circling this game on their schedules. Some of the attention, some of the stuff that's been going on, they have brought onto themselves.
Yeah. Oh, they have. And look, I know there's a lot of people out there rooting for them. Again, I know I was not high on him, but I wouldn't consider myself a hater. Like I think it's great for the sport and Deion Sanders to kind of rebuild Colorado because they won a championship in the 90s. Like this used to be a really good. Them and Nebraska in the 90s had some really good rivalry games. Like this used to be a proud Colorado team, and for how bad they've been of late, it's great to kind of see them back on the map and Folsom Field, the Ralphie rolling out on the field. Like it's cool to see Colorado relevant again. But again, if he's here for the next decade or so, Colorado is going to win a national championships at some point, multiple.
Without a doubt.
I think at one point the SEC is going to come in with, backup money truck up and give him whatever he wants. But look, if he's here, it's been great. I think he's going to continue to build. The recruiting is going to continue to keep going up. But it's been awesome to see them relevant again because it's been quite a while. I know they get the 2 Pac-12 conference championship games, but I think they were like both years though, like 9-win teams. Like they weren't, I think they were right around top 25. But it's great to see them relevant again.
Absolutely. But we'll move on to the big game on Saturday night, and that's Ohio State at Notre Dame. And I think this is going to be a really, really close competitive game between these two teams. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think that Notre Dame is going to run the football against them, though. I think Estime is going to have a really, really big game in the run game. I do think that Ohio State runs the football well, but I think the difference in this game is the quarterback play. It's so obvious what the difference in the game is going to be. It's the quarterback play. It's a quarterback play between Kyle McCord and Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's played really, really well for Notre Dame so far this year. McCord, this is a tough spot, a loud stadium, a hostile environment, going to Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a very tough game. I think Notre Dame's going to get really physical with them, with Estime. I think it's going to be up and down the field. But in the end, I'm going to take the Irish. I'm going to take the team with the better quarterback. I'm going with the Irish. I'm going with the Irish to beat Ohio State 31-27. But Justin, can Kyle McCord lead Ohio State to a big win on the road?
I do. I get the same score as you, 31-27 Buckeyes go on the road and win this football game. Yeah, I think Sam Hartman's a better quarterback in this game than Kyle McCord. Sam Hartman's made such a big difference to this Notre Dame team. That's what they've been missing for so long. And, it's been great. And this is probably the biggest Notre Dame home game probably since the push game back in 2005 when Leinart helped Reggie Bush there at the end of the game get in the end zone there. So this is, big game. There's going to be a good amount of Ohio State fans there because, there's always a good amount of visitor fans that go into Notre Dame Stadium. I think it's going to be the same thing that's going to happen this weekend. I think Ohio State really woke up last weekend. It's a Western Kentucky team whose defense stinks, but they are usually pretty good at offensively. But I think the difference is I think Ohio State's defense, second year into Jim Knowles, and they've had a lot last couple of years. Ohio State's brought in a lot of top 5 talent or 5-star talent. I think you're starting to really see that in this defense this year. Notre Dame at the two guard spots are very young, and that's in Ohio State interior defensive line. That's where they got some experience where I think Ohio State could maybe win this football game. And I think Marvin Harrison and Emeka Ibuku, I think those two guys have really solid games. Again, Notre Dame gave Ohio State all they could handle for a while last year. Sam Hartman's made a huge difference as team, but my national championship pick is Ohio State. I think they woke up last weekend. I think they kind of put the pedal to the metal finally. Hartman's been great, but I think Ohio State finds a way on the road to knock them off.
I'll give it to you. Your national championship pick is better than mine, but I just don't think McCord's going to win. I don't think McCord's going to win this game. I just don't think McCord's going to win this game. I think Sam Hartman's going to play really well. I think the running game at Notre Dame, the way they're going to get physical with Ohio State, we saw Michigan do this 2 years in a row. I think Notre Dame's going to do it this year. Yeah, last year they played them tough. For Notre Dame was not a great team last year, and they played Ohio State tough on opening night. I think they get them this year. I think the Estime and the run game and the quarterback play, the run game and the quarterback play of Notre Dame, I think makes the difference. And I think Ohio State's run game will be good too with Travion Henderson, but I think the run game of Notre Dame and that quarterback Sam Hartman, I think it makes all the difference, and that's why I think the Fighting Irish get this win.
No, it definitely could, and they definitely have talent for Hartman and Estime. Again, like those two guys right now should be top 5 in Heisman. I have Penix number 1 at the moment. But like those two, this is a spotlight game for those two. Those two put up numbers, man. They got a really good shot for the Heisman. Like, yeah, I think this is a game too where Notre Dame's kind of been a little bit more kind of spread out this, instead of they've opened up that offense a little bit more this year with Sam Hartman. And we've kind of seen the opposite where Ohio State, because we've talked about Michigan beats them because of their style. This is kind of playing a little bit more in Ohio State's hand, I feel like. And yeah, McCord, first road game, second, they played at Indiana, but who I think may not be as bad as we thought. Like, that defense is pretty good. Their offense actually, looked good this weekend against Louisville. But McCord was high school teammates with Marvin Harrison. Like, they already have that connection. They've played a lot of football together. I think Marvin Harrison makes a difference in this one. And, he really got going last week against Western Kentucky. I just think Ohio State, I think McCord, I think total all around, I think Ohio State just has a little bit more talent than the Irish.
Yeah, they have more talent, but I like the quarterback play of Notre Dame, and they're at home. Very easily I can see Ohio State winning the game. I just think outside of last week, Ohio State hasn't been they weren't that impressive against Indiana. Let's be honest. And Notre Dame's been pretty much impressive throughout the entire season. So that's why I like Notre Dame in the spot.
No, I can see it. I still don't totally feel like we know what Notre Dame is. Like,
really?
I think it's the same thing with Ohio State.
They went to NC State and beat up NC State.
Yeah, they did. Again, couple rain delays or weather delays in that one. Yeah, they look good. I was kind of higher on NC State. I haven't really liked the way they've played so far this year. But like a couple of big play, a couple of turnovers really helped the Irish in that game. So yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Irish, but it's the same thing there with Ohio State. Like, I don't totally know who they are either. But like just took more stock in Indiana. Like maybe this is a better team. Like maybe they are a little bit better. And I felt like last week, them in Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan, I kind of feel like they've treated these first couple of games like preseason games so far. And yeah, I think last week Ohio State really opened it up, and I really like that defense last week. And I really think, I know we've kind of taught Ohio State's defense has kind of been their Achilles heel, but I love Jim Knowles. I think he's one of the best D coordinators in the country. I think that's really going to change this year. And I think they do make a difference in this game Saturday night.
We'll see. It should be a really good game between these two teams playing each other for the second year in a row. We got a big SEC matchup this week between Ole Miss and Alabama. This should be a really, really good game. I think it's going to be a good game between these two teams. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, but I'm going to surprise some people here. I'm gonna go with the Rebels. I'm going to go with another team to go into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama, because let me tell you, Alabama's quarterback play is terrible, and Ole Miss's quarterback play is pretty good with Jackson Dart. I like Junkins as a running back. I think this Ole Miss team, Lane Kiffin, comes in and pulls the big upset over Alabama. I got Ole Miss 28-24 in the upset over the Crimson Tide of Alabama. But Justin, can Milroy bounce back and keep Bama's title hopes alive?
I do. It's because I just don't trust Lane Kiffin. I tried 2 years ago. I picked Ole Miss last time they're down 2. I just in this spot, Lane Kiffin's been kind of all week, kind of been talking smack about this game. He feels very confident, and that's what I don't like. When there's a confident Lane Kiffin, things will never, he'll try to be the smartest man in the room when he doesn't have to be in a couple of his calls, and I think that's going to happen this week. And I think Bama does find a way this week, 27-24. And for Bama, they're going back to Milrow, and I hope this week that they use a game plan that has some more read options entailed, or some more RPOs this week for Jalen Milrow, because that's where they have to use his legs as a weapon, because their offensive line is not very good. Ole Miss defensive line is pretty good, so I think Ole Miss is going to get some pressure on them. And I think and I know Saban kind of threw Milrow under the bus after the Texas game. He was not the total reason why they lost that game. Last week was very interesting because Buckner and Simpson got sacked 5 times. None of the offensive linemen went to go pick them up. Milrow went to go pick up their starting quarterback, which is very weird. And Milrow led the team out of the locker room, which was very odd. So, and Saban's been Saban's been a lot more relaxed. I kind of feel like this may be Saban, to me, feels like this is Saban's last dance type thing, because he just personality wise he seems a little bit different this year. So he would have never released Milroy to be the starting quarterback on Monday, never. Wow. So so something weird's going on in Alabama right now, but I just can't trust Lane Kiffin. I just can't. I think Milroy would find a way. And Ole Miss weapons wise been banged up. Junkins did not play last week. I think he's gonna play this week. But wide receiver wise, Trey Harris. I haven't heard anything on him. And Zykeir Franklin, the transfer from UT San Antonio, hasn't played yet this year. They could be out there 2 top wide receivers in this game. Alabama, I think this week, I think Tommy Rees kind of scripts something up for Jalen Milrow this week. And I'm going to take Alabama to win at home. I could see Ole Miss going in there, but Kiffin just has to prove it to me. Again, last time he went in there, he went for on a 4th down 7 times. Just can't do that. You can't.
No. It was back in the Matt Corral year, right? We did that.
Yeah. Yep.
I think the SEC West is up for grabs, and I think this year it's definitely up for grabs because Bama's not playing well. LSU played better last week, but I think it's up for grabs. I think Ole Miss takes it. I think Ole Miss takes it this week. I know they've beaten Alabama a couple times, but that was in the Hugh Freeze days, not the Lane Kiffin days. But I think they do it. I think this is the year they got. I think they have the better quarterback, and I think they got a really good team this year. That's why I'm going Ole Miss in this game.
Yeah, I could totally see it. I think Jackson Dart's, last year he's so one-dimensional as a quarterback where he never used his legs. And this year, at this moment, he is their leading rusher. He's really done a really good job being more of a dual threat guy and bringing that element into it. So yeah, Lane Kiffin, they got weapons. He's done a great job of kind of finding kind of guys in the portal and working with, every year, you could probably put him as kind of one of the best portal hauls that the Rebels get. And I think their defense is good enough. I go back to that Tulane game. If Michael Pratt plays, I think Tulane beats them. They kind of got lucky there late. Couple turnovers there. They did not play great in that football game. So, another tough environment to go into here. Dart's played really, really well. I put Jackson Dart, I think right now has been the best quarterback so far in the SEC. And then second, I would have to put Spencer Rattler. Maybe Jaden Daniels. I'd say Jaden
Daniels, but that shows you a weak quarterback play in the SEC is when you're putting Spencer Rattler in that conversation. I think Dart's definitely been one. Will Rogers was awful last week from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
But when you're putting Jackson Dart and Jaden Daniels as the top 2, quarterback play is not great in the SEC. And you made a good point a couple weeks ago with the Pac-12 being better, you might be right about that.
Oh, yeah. 18's ranked this week.
Yeah,
they would have, if there's 12, if it was a 12-team playoff this year, half the Pac-12 may be in there. Half the field of 12-team playoff could be coming out of the Pac-12 right now. Like, yeah, it's a great conference. It's so sad it's going to end. But, yeah, the quarterback play is great. And, yeah, the SEC-wise, like, it's not good. Joe Milton ain't any good.
Oh, he was garbage. He was garbage against Florida.
Yeah. Connor Wegman at Texas A&M. I do like him. I know he had, a couple bad throws there against Miami, but I do like Connor Wegman at Texas A&M. Little younger. He's sophomore still, but he's pretty good. But, yeah, like, other than that in this conference, it's not good. Like, Devin Leary, I thought the NC State transfer coming to Kentucky, he hasn't been great either. Like, Kentucky's offense hasn't been outstanding. So, yeah, it's not good. And it's crazy. Like, Spencer Rattler may be the first quarterback taken the NFL draft this year in the SEC, like, for SEC quarterbacks. It's a real possibility. And I give Rattler, he's played a lot better this year. And now he's got no offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's played better, but he's 1-2. He's 1-2. And they lost by double digits to North Carolina. I know the offensive line isn't good. I know the running game isn't good, but still, I'd still take Jaden Daniels and Jackson Dart over him right now.
Yeah. Daniels, he threw a couple of deep balls last week. I'm like, yeah, Daniels is good. Darts looked really good. Yeah, Rattler, I could see why you put him at third. Again, I know he's got to prove a lot to get back here, but again, if he could just have if his offense line could help him out a bit, I like him even more. I think this week in Mississippi State, he's gonna have a big game.
Yeah, we'll see. I think so. I definitely think so. So we got a big matchup in the ACC, and we got a big matchup in Happy Valley. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEG's Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
So we got a big matchup in the ACC as we got Florida State heading to Clemson to face the Clemson Tigers. And I think this is a game that Florida is close. It's competitive, but in the end, I trust Jordan Travis more than Cade Kublik. I was down on Clemson after week one loss to Duke, and I just can't see him beating Florida State. I know it's at home, but I can't see him beating Florida State. I got the Seminoles beating. I got the fourth-ranked Seminoles beating Clemson 27-20. But Justin, can Kublik and Clemson pull the upset on Saturday?
No, I got the Seminoles as well, 28-24. Um, Clemson, you kind of say, well, in a couple weeks, maybe they fix their offense, but I think they scored 3 touchdowns last week. 35, after like Florida Atlantic helped them out and they kind of started deep into opponent's territory. So I don't think Clemson has the wide receivers in this game to kind of get separation in this one. Will Shipley, he's a good running back, but Jordan Travis, I think getting ball to Keon Coleman, and Johnny Wilson, I think they get it going. Last week for Florida State, I know they didn't play well against BC, but they had 3 guys out with injury that are starters. The flu was going around the locker room, and I believe they were up. What was 21 points there with like 11 minutes left, and BC kind of fought their way back there. So, you know, yeah, I kind of looked ahead last week a little bit, but I think Seminoles are a better team. First time Clemson's a home dog since the Lamar Jackson game in 2016, but I think Florida State right now has got a little bit too much talent for Clemson. Cade Klubnik, I think, will make a mistake or two. And again, you know, I really need to see this offense actually put up some points on somebody before I really think, okay, maybe they figure something out here. But they just don't have the wide receiver talent right now to beat a team like Florida State.
Got Oklahoma heading to Cincinnati to face the Bearcats. And I think Oklahoma wins this game. I think they cruise. I think they win 38-21. I think Brooks has a really, really good – Dylan Brooks – what's the Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel is a really, really good game. I think he throws 3 or 4 touchdown passes. And for Cincinnati, all I got to say about them, they wish they still had Desmond Ridder and Sauce Gardner because I think it's going to be a long day for them on Saturday. I might hang out early, but I think it's going to be a long day for Saturday for them at home. But how could Cincinnati stay in this game or pull this upset?
Well, they're going to need to be a lot better in the red zone. Last week they struggled against Miami of Ohio, and they can't give as many explosive plays as they did against Miami of Ohio last week. Blaine Gabbert's little brother Barrett kind of picked them apart there last week against the Bearcats. So I'm not very confident here in Cincinnati. I got Oklahoma win this one 30-17. Dylan Gabriel has played really well. And I could see a situation. He's played well, but they got a back behind him, Jackson Arnold, who I think if Texas or Oklahoma's losing the Texas game at halftime, you're going to see Jackson Arnold come out and start second half. It's one of those like Brett Venables is just waiting for that moment to kind of pull Gabriel. Jackson Arnold's going to be that next special Oklahoma quarterback waiting in the wings here. Oklahoma, this team seems a lot more like a Brent Venables team. They've kind of just absolutely have just stepped on the gas, just have been so relentless so far. They have a couple of big plays. Emory Jones, the Cincinnati starting quarterback, I'm not a big fan of his. I think he makes a couple of mistakes, and I don't think Cincinnati's defense is going to make enough stops here against OU's offense here. They've been really, really good outside of the SMU game. But Oklahoma should roll here about 2-3 touchdowns.
We got a Pac-12 matchup in Utah, 2 undefeated teams, Chip Kelly and UCLA, and number 11 Utah. But I think Utah has beaten Baylor, they've beaten Florida. Utah is definitely more battle tested. That's why I think they win this one by double digits. I got them winning at home 30-20 over UCLA. But can Chip get UCLA to 4-0?
Yeah, I'm taking Chip Kelly.
Whoa,
I'm taking the Bruins on the road.
Is Rising playing?
I'm not sure. That's kind of why I'm going with them. I have not seen anything yet, and that's why I know I'm very impressed with their freshman quarterback. He was UCLA's freshman quarterback, Dante Moore. He was the number 1 quarterback out of this class. Committed to Notre Dame, decommitted obviously at UCLA. He's played really well so far. He's a really good thrower on the run. And I like their kind of dual running back situation. They got Carson Steele, Ball State transfer, who's a kind of a physical back, and then they got TJ Warner. Both guys have over 200 yards rushing so far in the year. It's going to be a hostile environment for Dante Moore and that team, but I think UCLA's defense is pretty good this year. And I think especially if Rising doesn't play, I don't know how Utah is really going to be able to score many points in this football game. They don't have a ton offensively right now without Cam Rising. So if Rising plays, yeah, I might take the Utes, but right now without him, I think UCLA's going to have the better quarterback play, and I think they'll hit a couple of explosive plays, and I think UCLA finds a way to go on the road and knock off the Utes.
Big matchup in Happy Valley as Iowa travels to Penn State. And I know Kirk Ferentz has had his way against Penn State over the years, But I think Penn State's the more talented team. I think I think it's a close game early. I think, they forced a couple turnovers from Drew Aller. But I think Cade McNamara turns the ball over a couple times. I think the running game of Singleton makes a difference. I know last week Singleton had trouble getting going against Illinois, but I think the run game makes a difference for Penn State. I think they end up winning this one. I think they win it by 10. I got them win at 27-17 over Iowa. But Justin, can Kirk Ferentz continue to have success against Penn State?
No, I got the Nittany Lions 31-10. Iowa, they're coming in really banged up. They're missing their two most explosive running backs. They're missing their leading receivers, their tight end, who's done for the year. And then up front defensively, it's not the same Iowa team. Like every year, it's like, okay, we kind of expect them to kind of supplement the talent, bring in new ones. I don't think it's a great Iowa front this year. Like, I don't think their defense is dominant. They're not forcing as many turnovers as they usually do. And Cade McNamara too, he got hit last week in the first quarter, kind of came up gimping. He didn't look healthy either. Like if he's coming in with no weapons, he's banged up. As long as Drew Aller and that team if the Penn State offense doesn't make too many mistakes, I got Penn State in this one. I really like Drew Aller. I know he didn't, last week the offense wasn't great, but to look ahead, it's an early kick out there. I think Singletary has a good game on the ground. I think Aller does not make many mistakes in this game. It's a whiteout game. I just don't see. I think Penn State's defense is going to help out their offense this one. They're going to get a couple turnovers for them and make life a little bit easier.
We got another Pac-12 matchup this week as undefeated Oregon State faces undefeated Washington State, and I think this is a really, really close game between the two. I think this is a really close game between these two teams. But I'm gonna go with Oregon State. I got Oregon State winning this one. I'm gonna go 28-24 Oregon State. I think DJ outplays Cameron Ward, and I got Oregon State winning this one close. But Justin, can Cameron Ward lead Washington State to a 4-0 start?
It's very possible. Pullman, tough place to play, but at the Beavers as well, 31-28. Washington State should have lost to Wisconsin. They're outgained. Wisconsin just had 3 turnovers in that game that kind of hurt them, and Wisconsin's not a good football team either. Like Oregon State's better than Wisconsin. Damian Martinez right now is averaging 8 yards a carry. DJ, he's looked like the same guy at Clemson. Like he'll make a couple of really good throws that impress you, and then he'll make the kind of couple bad turnovers, and it's like where are you throwing that football? So, and this one, Oregon State, they lost a ton of talent last year in the defense. They played really well in that end of the field this year. I really like this team, and Washington State they're just one dimensional. They really struggle to run the football. Cam Ward's been phenomenal. They brought in a new OC this year, and Cam Ward, he's played really, really well this year. He's been fun to watch. Run the ball a little bit more too than he usually is. Last year he's kind of more of just a strict pocket passer, but I got the Beavers in this one. I like the Beavers. Beaver. It's gonna be competitive, but I think the Beavers can make the Pac-12 championship game. I'm really high in this team, and as long as DJ just doesn't make a ton of mistakes, I think they go to Pullman and knock off the Cougars in a battle of the Pac-2.
Pac-2. These are the 2 remaining schools that are still in the Pac-12.
Yep.
I wasn't thinking of that.
Crazy,
these are the 2 remaining schools that are still technically in the conference. But we'll move on to an SEC matchup between Arkansas and LSU. And let me tell you, if Arkansas couldn't beat BYU last week, there ain't no way they're beating LSU this week. I think that Jaden Daniels is going to have a huge game. I think they're putting up over 35 points. I think KJ Jefferson will make some plays, but he'll make a couple mistakes too. And I got LSU. They made a statement last week at Mississippi State. They're going to make another statement this week. I got LSU beating Arkansas 38-17. And I assume you got the same, Justin.
Yeah, same score as you here. And yeah, maybe last week I was panicked a little bit too early about the Tigers. They dominated last week. BYU is a more physical team up front last week, and when they went on the road to Fayetteville and knocked off the Razorbacks. I think Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors are going to make plays against them. I think up front LSU, as I mentioned, is the better team, and as long as you can kind of contain KJ Jefferson, you got a chance. And I think Arkansas secondary struggled last year. It's a little bit better, but I don't think it's good enough to slow down this LSU team. It's at home in Death Valley on a Saturday night. This Arkansas team does not have enough talent to walk in there and knock off the Tigers. I think LSU wins this thing by 3 scores.
We got Texas heading to Waco this week as they will face the Baylor Bears, who've struggled. They're 1-2. Their offense is terrible. I think their offense continues to be terrible this week. That's why I think Texas cruised in this game. I got Texas winning this one 31-10 over Baylor. But Justin, can Baylor give Texas another tough game just like Wyoming did?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Blake Shapen's not going to play either. Sawyer Robertson, who has been filling in for him, he struggled so far, and he struggled with a very bad Long Island team. I think he completed 10 out of his 22 passes against one of the worst teams in the FCS, and their offense really couldn't click there. They only scored 16 points in the first half, so I'm very concerned about this Baylor team if Shapen's going to continue to be out here. Look, Texas last week, and Wyoming played their second stringer last week. Their first team quarterback was hurt. But I think Xavier Worthy against that secondary, should be able to take care of business. I think Quinn Ewers should have a good day against this Baylor team. The secondary is not great this year. I think they're a little bit better, up front than they were, a couple weeks ago against Texas State, where they got dominated. They've improved in that area a bit. But I don't see Baylor having the offensive talent in this one. It's going to be a long night for the Baylor Bears.
We'll wrap up talking about UNC and Pitt, and I think this is another blowout. I think Drake May throws a couple touchdown passes, and Pitt's offense is horrible. They only scored 6 points last week against West Virginia. I think this is another blowout. I got UNC winning 34-10. I assume you got the same.
Yeah, I got this one 31-10. Phil Dracovic right now, I don't know if he's hurt or what, but he's only completed 46% of his passes. It's been ugly. They're not, Pat Narduzzi teams are usually really, really good in the trenches and on defense. That's not even the case this year. They can't run the football. Drakovic's not been very good. I think UNC's been really good at kind of, dimensional wise, being able to run and pass the football. I think Drake May should have the big day in this one. I think he should be able to do whatever he wants against a Pitt team that's defensively is not great. And I think North Carolina kind of rolls in this one. They win this game 31-10.
Yeah, it should be a blowout win for North Carolina. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week talking about week 4 of the NFL season, week 5 of the college football season, and the last week of the baseball season. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is Saquon Barkley. He's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.